Hi friends, it's Sarah from Ruffles and rainboots.com. Now this is a little different for me. Let me know if you want this kind of stuff on this channel or not. I'm going to make 3 different fall crafts today. If you like them, stick around. I'm going to ask you to please let me know in the comment section if this is something you'd love to see on this channel. I have 2,000 crafts on my website. I just want to share some of them here. So this right here is a beautiful set of napkins I got at Home Goods or Home Sense or Marshall's or one of those places. One side has the gold foil and the rest of them are flat. I'm going to show you the 2 different sides. So this is a cutting board that I got at the Dollar Tree, and surprisingly it was only $1.25. It's a decor piece, it's not wood, but I gave it a couple of coats of white gesso, which is my favorite if you want to cover up something, but you could also decoupage like a white piece of paper. Now you see the autumn through there, but now I'm going to use Waverly's plaster, which is like an off-white color, and this is thick, so we only need really 1 coat of this guy. All right, so you can see I'm going to use the heat gun to dry these all the way through because I'm impatient. And instead of 2 layers, this one was actually 3. I'm going to use those wadded up pieces in just a second, so don't toss them. I will tell you it's a little harder to get that gold foil looking great at the end, so cut off what you can. Use a water brush or a Q-tip with some water on it. Don't go out and buy a water brush if you don't have it. My friends over at Sustain My Craft Habit, I learned this on one of their videos and thought that's kind of brilliant. So anyway, I went around and just did this. Leave a good bit of room just so that you can sand it down later. And if you're wondering why I'm saying sanding, okay, just hold on. So I'm just going to position this and put Mod Podge right behind it. I do end up Mod Podging the whole thing so that all of the texture can be the same, but I have a multi-step process to my Mod Podge, which is why a lady named Kim asked me to share it because she loves this process now. All right, so I'm going to put it on just like normal. We're going to iron over the Mod Podge, really pressing down on those outside edges. So I'm going to show you really up close because a lot of what we see on social media doesn't have the decoupage really close, and it also doesn't have the edges really close. When I started decoupage with Mod Podge, I was like, I'm doing it wrong. Okay, so you see that the back of that napkin is all around the outside edge here. Don't worry. We're going to fix it. But anyway, when I first started it, I was like, mine's not looking like theirs. It's not looking the same. But hang on. So you don't have to use this brush. You can use a sponge dauber. You can use a foam brush. You can use your fingers. But basically, I'm bringing in some of that same plaster color paint onto that edge. And even inside, you can see there I am putting it across the pumpkin and then like using my finger to wipe it away. And the reason I do that is because we want the same color family. Now, after that is all dried, that is a nail file. Yes, indeed. It is a 180 or 100 nail file. I get them on Amazon, and you will not have edges. I'm going to show you real close. So let me do this first, and then after I do this all the way around, look, hold on. I'm going to show you again real close. I mean, I'm not going to be hiding anything from y'all. You know me. So now I'm going to use matte Mod Podge because to me, it's still glossy. So I am not going to get a full matte look unless I do a spray sealant. And to be honest, I didn't do a spray sealant because I didn't want to tape off the whole back of that cutting board. So anyway, this part I'm actually going to let dry while I work on some gnome patterns on my laser. Now, look at the edges. You see? That is what you get when you do the little like sanding on the outside edge. I'm telling you, it makes all the difference in the world, but you have to put down a coat of paint and you have to like kind of blend that paint on the edge of the napkin. I wrapped some wired twine around my water brush pen. I had some burlap ribbon, so I'm just going to pinch this together. And yes, I'm going to tie it up with the string ripped off of the burlap ribbon, because it works. Anyway, I make 2 of those little bows in different sizes and then make a 2-strand bow. Glue on some of these tails and then staple gun on this guy because I think if you tried to glue it, it would just fall off. But it also helps hold down the tails. And then I just glued everything else on. You can actually paint over that wood if you want, or pop off this little thing and cover it with the contact paper in the light wood that Dollar Tree has. But I was really impressed with this little project, to be fair. Now, we used the foil on that one. Any of the other sides are basically the non-foil. I'm going to use a cork and this Dollar Tree hexagon thing, and the same plaster color paint, foam brush, and then, it's a candle ring. Anyway, I painted it all white first, same as the other one, and then added my coat of plaster. Now, I did not coat the sides, and I'm going to show you why. So I'm just going to use the heat gun because, again, no one's got time to watch Sarah watch paint dry. And then once that becomes matte and is fully dry, we can do this part all over again. So I just cut out a little square, and I will just tell you, I've messed up many a decoupage thinking there was a 2-ply, and it was a 3-ply. Because this one's so small and our print's going to cover it, I'm just going to put Mod Podge on the whole thing, and it won't matter. I did help that dry a little bit. And now I'm just going to press this down, grab my little parchment paper. And on this one, I have a different technique because I'm lazy. So I'm going to go from the inside out on all of it. And again, sorry, I had to check my text message there. But on all of it, we want to make sure we're getting all of the Mod Podge. So it's all the same sheen. And don't worry, it won't stick, I promise. So anyway, I sped that part up for you, sorry. But no one's got time to watch me do that. Okay, so now here's where I check. And I'm showing you, if you see any bubbles, do that again. Let it cool. And do it again if you see any bubbles. Okay, so I'm gonna, so you can see on the very edges, I always do it again. And that is because I am gonna go a little rough on things in just a second. Okay, so now that's there. You know those cute little sponge sanders at the Dollar Tree? Throw those away and grab the ones that have 100 grit or even 80 grit. So I'm using a 120 right here. 2 swipes, all done. Doo-doo. And let's say you have a little thing right here. Look, it just takes it away. You're going to be fine. And remember, we kind of did the Mod Podge over the edge just a little bit. This is never coming off. Now I'm going to use the same matte Mod Podge on the top of it all the way around, just so it has a nice little protectant. On this one, I could have spray painted it, but I was too lazy to go outside. All right, so I'm going to dry that with a little help. And now, because I didn't plaster everything, I'm just going to add a little water and brown paint together. Technically, this is brown Waverly wax, but it works like paint. So I'm just going to use the inside of those napkins and just very lightly add a little bit of this color to the edges. And then I'm also going to bring that color into the napkin, but mostly wiping it off. And then that basically just tones this all down so it looks good from all the sides. And the back is white in case you want to use that. So I used this candle ring because I don't even know what year I bought this and decided I would use the leaves. So I just creased one leaf and then glued them to the top. If you are lucky and still have fingerprints after all your years of crafting, do protect your digits. I can't feel anything anymore. I ended up not using that bead of Dollar Tree wood bead, or that strand of Dollar Tree wood beads. I am going to use the same theme, so I just tied a little twine knot and glued that on. You can use a stick from your yard too. So this is the guy we're going to do last, and this one's my favorite because my daughter loves this little print. This is the Dollar Tree fox print that I used on a gnome here on the channel, and it's super cute. You can see the legs on this one. My daughter's already absconded with it and brought it upstairs. So for this one, again, same supplies pretty much. I grabbed white fabric to go with that fabric in the same burlap ribbon, Dollar Tree leaves, prepackaged Dollar Tree leaves, and then this jute. The Dollar Tree jute's a little bit thinner, and this one I got at Walmart on a vacation, a crafting vacation. These are from Michael's, and there's 2 2A package. You can see there's MDF on the back in case you want to make it a 2-sided bad boy. But all I'm going to do is basically position, look, there you go, position this pretending like I have a big bow here. I think that's going to look good. So I'm going to write with jute, but I don't really have that skill, so I'm going to first get out a pencil because That I can do. So I'm just going to knock this over like on a side, you know, kind of off-centered or whatever. And then I'm going to speed this part up. But basically all I'm doing is hand lettering single line with a pencil. If you know how to write cursive, which they're not teaching anymore, so good for you. Write cursive, or if you want, print off something from Word or the internet that says hello fall or welcome or whatever you want to do. But I'm just going to quickly letter this, and then we're going to cover this up. So don't worry. And then I had to fix it. So again, don't worry. It's fine. Just erase and redo it like I just did there. Okay. So now that we have that, I'm going to literally save you so much time and fast forward through all of this. But I am going to tell you about the tips that I learned after doing this. So I think a small section, so 2 to 3 inches of the glue is all you need, and you do want to use a detail tip glue gun or it will seep out the sides. And you don't always want to overlap, so there's some things that you want to overlap on, like if they're the same letter or the same stroke in like hand lettering, but you do want to cut and tuck in those edges on others, and I'll show you why. So I'm just going to finish this little part here real time, and you'll see. You can cut it off there or you can keep going. I'm going to go all the way down for the H, and then once it's secure, I'm going to cut it off. And then you can just glue down the little fray in that same glue so you don't have any pieces like moving away. Again, you know, use your finger protectors if you still have feeling. But all through this entire thing, again, I'm not going to make you watch this, so I'm going to speed it up. But all through this entire thing, this is the least important part. Wow. Sorry, I can't speak. This is the least important part. So if you mess up something, do not worry. First of all, you can just rip it off. It's easy crafting. Fall should be easy crafting. You know what I mean? So I will tell you, like right here where you can't go next to it, rip those or cut those off and then tuck in the edges right here and then start another one. First of all, no one's going to be able to tell. And then second of all, you can clean it up. If you don't like something when you stand back, you can just rip it off. Isn't that nice? And then I use my heat gun to melt any piece or any bit of glue that seeped out. It'll just disappear. Okay, so I finished all this. Again, I'm not going to make you watch this whole thing, but like on the O's and stuff, so always start underneath any loop. That's something I learned. And then, you know, make a pretty thing at the end because you didn't have to draw it. You can just keep going. Make yourself a little swirl. So the important part is teeny tiny scissors. Seriously. And then you just shave it. I mean, not with a shaver, although now that I think about it, I could have done that. But here's what I'm doing. I'm going on the top layer and then I'm going along the inside and the outside. This right here took me 20 minutes. So it took me 40 minutes to do this whole thing, and 20 minutes of it was just this part where you're cutting and trimming like all the crazy jute things. So be prepared. This little sign took 40 minutes total. Most of which was this portion where you're cutting off the extra bits. So I'm going to just skip this part after the F because it's the same thing over and over. And if you want, you can even like bring a little loop-de-loop at the end of yours if you want. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. If this is going outside, I'd probably do hot glue and E6000, especially if it's Texas, because it's still 90 degrees in October. Anywho, Dollar Tree greenery for the win, and then Dollar Tree leaves. Because look, there's so many colors in this little fox print. Never sleep on the Dollar Tree cottons. You can use those for a lot of stuff, especially like messy farmhouse bows, which I'm going to make right now. So this is the technique I use because your girl is lazy. So we're just going to cut about 6 to 8 inches. So my ribbons were all between those sizes or whatever. And I used 2 layers of the back big one, 4 layers of the middle one, which is my pattern, and then 1 of the front one. You can also use jute to match the bow in there. And then you just tie it all together, and then we can pull it out on the edges. And then I made 2 little tails, each of the burlap and my pattern. Most of that's going to get covered, but I always like the tails. I don't like floating bows. Let me know if you like floating bows. Anywho, one little tip is always put those lower and layer those if you can. The leaves are going to pop out and just be a tiny little bit of color underneath our big bow. But I think it adds something. And I'm using a staple gun because, again, Texas. Now, this is actually for inside. I'm not putting this outside. It's actually already upstairs in my daughter's game room. And I do like to staple these bows down just because they're a little heavier. This is an arrow staple gun. Somebody asked me that on one of the videos, and it's an arrow staple gun, really simple. If you get the 5/16, you can actually use it on Dollar Tree stuff too. So the 5/16 arrow, I'm sorry, what are these called? Staples, there you go. And always protect your surface. I added a hanger. I dovetailed some of the edges. Some of them I just chipped away at until I like the height or length, and then that's it. Look at that. Which of these projects was your favorite? Let me know down below, and let me know if you like this style. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe for more crafty fun.